Titian, originally named Tiziano Vecellio, was one of the greatest painters of Venice during the 16th century, and the first painter to have a large international clientele. His different styles of painting embodied the development of art during his epoch. Titian was born in Pieve di Cadore, Italy. Contemporary sources and his early stylistic development suggest that he was born around 1490. He started his artistic training in the workshop of the mosaic Sebastiano Zuccato. He later joined Gentile Bellini's workshop. After Gentile's death in 1507, Titian joined the workshop of Gentile's brother, Giovanni Bellini, which at that time was the most important workshop in Venice. Giorgione trained in Giovanni Bellini's workshop with Titian, and after Giorgione's death in 1510, Titian's career launched in Venice. He was predominantly known as being a portraitist as well as a painter of profane subjects. These subjects drew attention from intellectually ambitious Italian dukes and aristocrats. In 1525, he married Cecilia, who died 5 years later in 1530. But also in 1530, after meeting the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, Titian rapidly became the principal painter to the imperial court. This status earned him numerous amounts of privileges, honors, and titles. In 1527, Titian became close friends with architect and sculptor Jacopo Sansovine and Pietro Artino. His association with these two stimulated his interest in mannerism. After finally meeting Michelangelo in 1545, his mannerist art style began to increase. As Titian aged, his art began to push the edge of abstraction with a less descriptive representation of reality. This style was defined as magic impressionism, which is seen in his piece called Pieta, which was intended to be for his tomb. 3 works being discussed in this presentation includes Portrait of a Man, The 3 Ages of Man, Assumption of the Virgin, and Venus of Urbino. Each painting is an excellent example of Renaissance art. The Portrait of the Man is one of Titian's earliest portrait works, which dates around 1510, and is sometimes known as A Man with a Quilted Sleeve. The identity of the subjects painted is unsure of. However, some historians believe that it is of an Italian poet, while others claim that it is of a nobleman from a wealthy Venice family. It is also possible for it to be an early self-portraiture of the painter himself, as many Renaissance artists have created works under the self-portraiture genre. Titian uses oil paint to incorporate a great use of color into his works. Sfumato is used in the face of the man, which adds a very soft and realistic look to him. The use of sfumato can clearly be seen in the blending of his beard and the outline of his hair. Chiaroscuro is another art technique used in the painting, where Titian contrasts the dark background with the lighter colored sleeve. The great detail and color put into this work gives the quilted sleeve a very soft look, while adding character and realism to the man through his expression. The man is portraying a very straightforward and confident look as he is looking directly at the audience, yet his calm facial expression, relaxed position, and the color of his sleeve makes him appear as a somewhat cool character, as well as a clear example of an ideal Renaissance man. The 3 Ages of Man, dated between 1512 and 1514, is painted with oil on canvas. The colors used in the land are more dark with shadows compared to the brighter blue skies with light clouds in the back. This could reflect on the philosophical view that in the midst of life, we are in death. The painting represents the artist's conception of the different stages of life using allegorical terms. Cupid is seen clambering over the sleeping babies on the right side of the picture, while on the left the painting displays a young couple, and in the distance an older man is seen with 2 skulls. Another aspect to note is the church-like building in the distant background. The different placements of the individuals shows how foreshortening is used in the painting to add depth. The babies represent the infant stage. The fact that the 2 babies are sleeping suggests that Titian is attempting to portray the blissful ignorance as well as the carefree nature which is experienced at this stage of life. The hovering angel reflects on the purity and peacefulness of the sleeping babies. The 2 babies may grow up to be like the young couple on the left. The most prominent component of this painting is the pair of youth on the left. The young couple is engaging in the joys and exhaustion of youth. The muscular man is seen to be barely clothed and somewhat tired, possibly from a sexual encounter with the girl holding the flutes. The flutes possibly symbolize the mythological idea of the appealing siren songs. The girl is playing one flute to attract the man while she holds the other as a suggestion for him to join her in the embrace of the siren song. The two are deeply gazing at each other, suggesting that this is the stage where humans begin to feel compassion towards each other in a way that is no longer innocent, like during the infantile stage. Beyond the young couple and babies, there is an old man holding two skulls in the midground of the painting. One can perceive him as being tired, or he can be seen as contemplating on the skulls in front of him, either in wonder or terror. He is closer to the chapel compared to the other two stages. This could signify that his life is soon approaching death in heaven. The detail and accuracy put into the images of the individuals shows how Titian incorporates realism and naturalism. The fact that the male in the painting is barely clothed shows how Titian is attempting to portray the natural human form. The use of foreshortening is also symbolic, as it represents ideas of the journey of life and how the farther you go, the more progress in life you have made, hence the old man being in the midground and farther away from the younger individuals. Sfumato is used in this picture as well. We can see this through the detailed shading of the characters' bodies and in the grass. Through this picture, we see that Titian is bringing back Greek and Roman thought. For example, he refers to the mythical siren song with the flutes. This corresponds with the rebirth of Greek and Roman cultural aspects. This depiction of the stages of life is Titian's exploration of the human condition, and therefore uses humanism in this painting to highlight the challenge that we all face. The Assumption of the Virgin was dated between 1516 to 1518, and it is a very large oil painting. It is located in the Basilica di Santa Maria Gloriosa dei Frari in Venice, making it the largest altarpiece in the city. It includes multiple characters such as the Apostles, the Virgin Mary, and God, as well as angels. The painting is composed of different symbolic tiers, all enclosed within a border. This adheres to the Renaissance painter's intellectual design. The religious significance of the figures increases as the painting's level increases. The Apostles look up anxiously and adoringly at the Virgin Mary, who is ascending and looking up at God. This pattern suggests the importance of each level. The lower look up to the ones above, while God, being at the highest tier, looks down upon the rest. This also continues in reality, where the viewers in the church would look up at the altar below the apostles. This painting is all about showing the different levels of religious significance. Sfumato is used in this painting to add detail to the faces and bodies of the individuals. There is a nice blending of color in the sky, as well as the faint images of the angel-like characters found in the top back surrounding God. Foreshortening is used a bit, as we see how some individuals are behind others. Despite the fact that the content of this painting is purely religious, the work also incorporates realism through the accurate depiction of the human form and gestures. The gestures and facial expressions used reflect the late Renaissance style of mannerism. The symbolic component used throughout showed the intellectual thought that was put into the Renaissance painting. Venus of Urbino was dated in 1538 and was an oil painting on canvas. Titian's goal for this work was to portray the perfect Renaissance woman who becomes a symbol of love, beauty, and fertility, hence the painting of Venus. The painting uses many hidden meanings, as it was intended to represent the allegory of marriage. The painting was ordered as a gift from a duke to his wife, named Giulia Verano, who was a wife of eroticism, fidelity, and motherhood. Chiaroscuro is used in this painting as the tone of the woman's soft body, as well as the deep red she is sitting on, is placed in front of a plain black wall. The contrast between the light colors of her body and the dark background adds depth to the painting and makes the woman stand out and seem important. It also highlights her eroticism. The linear appearance of the tiles and the pillars also highlights the woman's curves, which adds to the sensual atmosphere. The overall use of oil paint gives the work a soft look to the woman, as well as the rich colors seen in the flowers, pillows, and the dress of the woman in the back. The dog is a symbol of fidelity, while the woman standing over the girl in the back represents the ideas of motherhood. Titian portrays the goddess Venus very differently than how she is normally displayed, by making her seem more attainable and less godlike or divine. Venus of Urbino is an excellent example of Renaissance humanism, realism, and naturalism. Titian not only paints a naked woman, but also makes her seem very open and welcoming while in a seductive position. This type of art is very different than medieval art and therefore is a good example of the modern Renaissance changes. As a humanistic artist, Titian strived to recreate the beautiful human form through the subject's nudity and confidence, making it a unique Renaissance art piece. In conclusion, Titian is an excellent example of a Renaissance artist. His artwork pushes many Renaissance ideas such as humanism and mannerism. It is clear that Titian puts a great deal of intellectual thought into his paintings, whether it is adding immense detail or adding symbolic significance. His paintings clearly show the intellectual movement of the Renaissance culture. Many artists use Titian as a role model for their own works because of his great contribution towards and influence on Renaissance art. August 27, 1576 was when Titian died of the plague.